Hi, it's Suzie from Nail Career Education, and one of my viewers suggested we do a video on removing the acrylic. So I have a video coming up that I want to do for French on this hand, but I have to get these off first. So let's get started. Thanks for the idea, Alexis. There's a couple ways you can remove your nails, and one of them is soaking them in acetone. You can heat the acetone up a little bit, not in a microwave, but just warm it up inside the bottle, running it under hot water, and it can make it a little bit warmer to accelerate the acetone to work a little faster. And you just pour them in bowls, and the client sits, and you just immerse the fingers in acetone, and you just sit there. It's very long and boring, and sometimes it can take more than the 30 minutes it says, but it is a great way to do it because the acetone actually gets into the acrylic and it literally bloats it up so much. It's sort of like the same effect as you threw a roll of paper towel in a bucket of water. It just bloats out and then it just sort of falls off the nail. And then you can just finish the nail gently. That's one way to do it. So the way I do it, I get a good carbide bit and a good drill. Now I've got a gel polish finish on top of here, but we're just gonna ignore that and just go for it like it was not on there at all. So I wanna shorten these completely off, then I'm gonna start fresh again, and I'll show you the best way to do that. When I'm shortening the length off, if these are a super long nail, you can literally hack it off like this. Like if this is a long stiletto or a long square, just a long nail in general, you can just, like a tree, you just hack it off from each side and then it will split. It's a very effective way if it's like say a super long nail, but these are not super long. So I would just take the tip against the carbide and literally just start filing it down. Now carbide bit, this one is pretty chunky, it's pretty teethy. I call it the meat grinder because if this hits the skin, hamburger. But you gotta know how to use this thing, so be really careful. So when you're filing down and you're shortening down and down and down, sometimes you gotta remember, you gotta be careful. As we get down, underneath there's that sensitive skin under there. I always call it, mispronounce it, but it's close enough. It's hyponychium or something like that. But it's a really sensitive part of the skin. You don't want to hit that. So if you're filing this way, you're just do, you might forget that you're getting really close. Like if you file this way, you're getting really close to the tip of the finger. You don't want to hit that. That would hurt. So you want to file down as short as possible. And you just keep going until you do all the fingers down. So I will do one specific so you can see it in its entirety. Now when I do this, I do wear a mask, especially in my daily routine every day. I'm not here so much because it's a little harder to, see what I'm talking about and see what I'm doing. I think it would look funny just to see a pink mask sort of just moving a little bit. So I file off the color, and then when you're filing and you're trying to remove, you're putting some pressure. You could probably see that stuff just flying off. The trick is not to hold your drill in one spot for too long. If I'm doing a remove on all of them, I will bounce back and forth to fingers. So if there's heat generated with one finger, you're not building it up too much. So bounce back and forth to relieve that sort of friction, which is what's causing the heat, right? Now, of course, you can do this with a hand file. You get yourself a really good hand file. A 180 grit is good. And you can, of course, file like this and go crazy, and it's effective. You can see it's coming down. You get a really good hand file. That was a pointy a second ago, so I'll just show you. Here's a point. You put a little elbow grease in there, you can get her down. But why do that when you have a drill? And then you keep filing the surface of it. Again, this can heat up too. This can burn you too. It's all about friction. It's all about friction and keeping your drill or your hand file going in the same spot all the time will cause friction and can cause heat. So you can do it with either or. You just have to be skilled at both of them. So I just keep going. Right now I'm getting off the color and I'm taking off some thickness now. Now this is, I've had a fill recently, so the nail is completely covered. So I'm not taking this Carbide bit right down to bare cuticle. There is product right to the cuticle there. So I'm just thinning the whole thing, and you can see I'm not in one spot for too long. And as I get closer, as I'm taking off more thickness, I'm getting closer and closer to the natural nail. So if you're getting this done too, you can feel the pressure. You should be able to feel the pressure is being done right. But you don't want to feel heat. So as a person, as a nail technician's point of view, you want to make sure that you're not spending too much time in one spot. And from the client's point of view, you don't want to feel the heat. And if you do, maybe just let them know. Everybody's different in sensitivity, right? You could drill one client and, you know, drill for blood, really, and she may not feel a thing. And the other client, you just take the, and oh, it hurts, it's too hot. You know, everybody's sensitivity is different, and as a nail tech, you want to work with that. And as a client, you want to make sure that you tell them if it's hurting. So I'm getting down there now. So when I do a removal, I actually don't file the product completely off. Reason being is acrylic nails, when they're sitting on top of the natural nail, it acts like a Band-Aid does on the skin. So if you put a Band-Aid on your skin and if you peel it off in a few days, you can see the skin is there, it's kind of soft. Well, the air makes our skin that little bit harder. Acrylic on top of a natural nail works the same effect. It doesn't ruin the nail, it just softens it a little bit. So the air makes our nails a little bit hardened. So if you take the acrylic completely off, that nail is a little bit softer underneath, and it can be sensitive to hot and cold water if you're a little bit sensitive, and that doesn't feel very comfortable. So when I do a removal on a client, I will just shorten it down as far as I can go, and I will shape it nicely, and then I will file this acrylic down this way to make it as thin as I can, but still being a thin layer, almost like a couple of coats of polish kind of thin, just to protect that nail a little bit. So as it grows out, it is a little bit protected from that hot and cold and from that sensitivity. But as it does grow out, they need to be informed that they need to shorten this too, because you don't want it heavy on the end, okay? So I'm gonna keep going a little bit. Actually, maybe I can do this a little bit with the hand file and show you. You can see that stuff just flying off there. So when I get down to it, then I take my gentler files, and once I've taken away the bulk of what I want to take, now I'm going to smooth it out, because I will finish their nail with a top coat and some oils and stuff to give it a very, very natural look. That's if they're removing them completely, of course, and I haven't talked them into a new set. And then I take another smoothing file, and you just go down and down and down until you hit a nice point where it's nice and smooth, very natural looking. Put a little bit of oil on it. Brings back the natural oils, takes away the dust. Boom, looks really natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up all these, and I'll show you the finishing shots. So to finish them, I will put a coat of oil on. Now I'll polish them up, and we'll do a reveal shot for you. So that's a good way to remove it. That's the way I prefer, I guess, because I'm doing something in it. To me, it is quicker. You can do the soaking method, but this is much faster. And it's also boring for the client when they're soaking because they can't read, text, drink a coffee, nothing. At least this way, we're doing something and she can text and talk. I can't wait to get some nails back on here, which alludes to the next video, which I'm gonna do some French. I can't wait to get that on there. Okay, that's great. Until the next video, see you soon.